Carry?
Dum da da dum 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 dum. Oh no. Calm down. I play mid again. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I've got another player who doesn't play mid. Well, let me pick a hero for you now. Maybe your favorite anti-mage? Okay. Maybe physical tinker? Okay, Leshrac. Does such a hero exist in Dota? Oh, no. It was a dream. What? You touch me la la la. These are roughly the thoughts that go through my head when I end up in a mid lane game. Hi, sup? This is a Red Fury, and today I'll try to figure out my nightmare: how to play in a mid lane. And to help me with this, I have my high MMR friend who has a huge experience in this role. This video a combination of high-level gameplay, text, professional replays, and my editing. I also tell you about a crucial trick that can decide the outcome of a game. Let's go! First of all, to start playing mid, you need to know the strongest hero of the current patch. Be sure to check which hero are in the meta on Pro Tracker. This will help you be more effective. Of course, you can pick any hero, but overall playing meta heroes already give you an advantages, especially in the critical moments of the match. It's recommended to test all heroes in unranked matches, especially if you are a beginner, but if you are sitting at 1 MMR, then ranked is technically fine too. Still, unranked games give you more time to learn, practice mechanic and adapt. My friend also recommends watching replays of players whose rank is much higher than yours. And that's exactly why we are going to look a few such replays now. We'll use a Leshrac game as our example, but not only this one. A hero who received a small nerf in patch 7.40 but is still a formidable force. Once your hero pool is decided, you need to figure out your starting item. Most of the time, your starting build will look like this: one set of Tango, 3 Iron Branches, and Fair Fire. Let's understand why this exactly starting build is used. The history of this build is old as a Dota 2 itself, but it was a particular setup was truly popularized, brought into common use by the professional player Thompson, a two-time world champion. One set of Tango gives you the ability to restore health after trades with the enemy, to preemptively eat a Tango so you keep regeneration health while the enemy mid laner is constantly harassing you. The Iron Branches can be eaten if you feel the opponent is playing aggressively, and Fairy Fire helps you in tough situation when you're on one hit away from dying. Overall, this starting build is the most cost effective for its price and allows the mid laner to get a bottle within the first few creep waves before the first water rune spawn. After buying these items, you should also pick up an observer ward. It helps you manipulate creep aggro more conveniently, keep vision on the enemy mid laner, and harass them when needed. You can place it right at the start of the game on the rune spot if you know your hero is rune dependent and you want to track whether the enemy mid laner will go for the specific water rune you are watching. Important, try to block the creeps after you pick up the runes. If you block your creep wave well, you'll be able to last hit them under your tower. The tower provides an aura of +1 armor and +1 health regeneration, which makes you a less efficient target for attacks. In addition, the enemy will either miss last hit on your creeps or be forced to re-aggro the creeps onto themselves, which breaks the lane equilibrium and causes the enemy melee creeps to start attacking their own range creep. By denying the enemy range creep, you gain a level advantage, potentially more damage, and overall you lay the foundation to come online earlier than the enemy mid laner. Try to secure the enemy range creep using your abilities, for example, Pax Orb, Queen of Pain's third skill, Lina Dragon Slave, Invoker's Sunstrike, Leshrak's Lightning, and so on. So you don't have to walk up into danger and can take the most important creep in the wave, banner creeps aside. In the mid-game, the most important principle is adaptability. If you see the enemy is playing very passively, you can try to harass them a bit and see what happens without overdoing it. You see, for example, the enemy Viper using Nether Toxin, his second skill, walking up to the creep wave and just farming. Try landing a couple of hits on him to make him feel less comfortable. If you try this and realize that you are losing more health than you are dealing in a damage, then you have to play passively. If the enemy plays aggressively, it tangles and constantly reaggrows the creeps. This way you can preserve your health and avoid taking unnecessary hits. An important rule in mid is not overstep and not to be greedy. If you feel that you can't secure the ranged creep and might lose a lot of health or mana trying, just relax. You can deny 2 melee creeps in the next wave or pick up those bits of experience later on. At this stage, the key is simply to survive the lane and die or not die as little as possible, but again without extremes. Last hitting creeps is your top priority. If you last hit purely, you'll be left without gold in the middle of the game. In the second and fourth minutes, water rune spawns, obviously. It's important to control them, especially if you have a bottle or need to restore some resources. High-level players are able to quickly shuffle items in their inventory to fully restore their health. To do this, you move your items into backpack and then back into main inventory. But you don't need to obsess over these mechanics early on. It's just a small detail in the overall skill set of a mid player. But the 4th or 5th minutes, it's important to buy a new ward and refresh your vision closer to the active rune area. That is on mid, above the stairs leading up from the rune spots. A mid-laner game really starts at minute 6 with the spawn of actively rune and reaching level 6 when you get your ultimate. Historically, mid heroes are active heroes, and passive heroes perform worse in the center lane than active ones, especially in a team game like a Dota, where you can no longer win solo helping your allies. On the side lanes can significantly increase your chance of winning the game. Overall, if you see the enemy diving under a tower, you can rotate even earlier. Your job is to react quickly to threats on the side lanes. Sometimes it happens that you can play actively even before getting your ultimate and the first active rune at the 6 minutes, and then slow down if you get an unforable rune, for example if you get an illusion. If the enemy leaves the mid lane, call it out like a miss in the chat or something like that, or using alt plus clicking for the hero, something like that. Before active rune spawn, also try to push your lane as deep as possible, very important, either by shoving the wave with abilities or simple auto attacking and last hitting creeps. This forces the enemy into a choice. First one is kill the creeps but lose the rune. The second one, take the rune but lose the creeps, or take damage from them and lose health. What to do next in the game? It's a good question. First of all, remember that you are position 2. Your hardest task in the game is to balance farming and killing enemy heroes. For example, see a chance to create a moment and initiate a fight, move there. Can you secure a kill on low HP enemy? Rotate and to the lane where they are. Your goal is to disrupt the equilibrium of the side lanes, but at the same time, if you don't see these opportunities, stay and farm creeps and wait for the right moment. If you lost mid, try to play passively until you can find good opportunities to kill wandering enemies or participate in a team fight where you can secure a kill or at least an assist. This will help you close the level gap and reduce the goal difference. If you notice the enemy hero frequently farming the jungle or retreating unsuccessfully from ganks, and you can respond push the lane, for example too slow, not enough resource, etc. When the enemy mid laner loses a creep wave, they lose roughly 300 gold and experience, and their tower becomes vulnerable. Pushing the lane a few times like this will start to heavily damage the enemy tower's HP. If you want the mid, try to extend your earlier level advantages to other lanes or continue farming experience and go to start making an impact in the game. You'll quickly feel when the mid game begins, around 12th or 14th minutes, a bit later at lower rank, but never mind. From this point, focus slightly more on farming than on creating solo opportunity. Carries start getting their first farming items both for you and the enemy. You are mid player, still a playmaker, but your overall value becomes critically important as a core hero. You still need to deal damage, be strong and impactful. And how can you do that if you ignore gold? This is when classic Dota for carry mid and offlane roles become into play. Farm until you reach a key item. BKB, Aghanim, EU, Blink, Manta, Orchid, etc. Then look for kills across the map. Develop strategic advantages, Roshan, towers, and the game continues following its natural flow. So your tasks in the game boil down to the following. First one, maintain tempo and apply lane pressure in the early game. Second one, kill lone, careless enemies with your team in the middle game. Third one, secure objectives like Roshan, towers, barracks in the mid and late game. And the last one, very important, engage your team at the right moment to close out the game. Very important. And now let's talk about the trick I saved for the end of the video. Statistics show that team at TI who secure both wisdom runes win 75% of the time. For example, if you see that the enemy offlane hero who is closer to the wisdom rune and plays top for radiant or bottom for dire is vulnerable, low HP, level disadvantages compared to your carry plus support, you can do what pro players do. If you manage to secure the active rune, quickly take out the mid wave and then rune to the enemy's wisdom rune. If you or your teammate manage to grab it, you've increased your win rate by 25% on top of this base 50. So today we've gone through the basics of playing the mid lane. The high MMR player shared with me and with you also, yes, the most important and fundamental tips that you can adapt in your own games. Don't forget to visit social media and thank my friend. This was a Red Fury. Remember, play like a true Fury. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Ciao.